Today looks like we have some perfect riding weather and we want to get out on our Crossplane R1. One of the bikes that I enjoy riding no matter what the weather is, but today promises to be an absolutely beautiful day. Well, it looks like we have yet another beautiful day to ride, and the weather, sometimes you can't believe the weatherman, sometimes we don't believe him. He says it's going to be a perfect riding day today. I can't wait. Now, I've been checking the durometer readings on these Pirelli Angels. The last couple times I rode the bike, very similar, within a couple of numbers of what the Michelin 2s are, and they are harder than the Michelin 5s, if you average it out. But they seem like really good sticky tires. I'm really impressed with, and they tear nice at the edge. We're going to start leaning on them harder and harder as we get used to them. And we've got, I guess, 300 or 400 miles on them already, but I'd like to get another 100 today. And this is a Michelin 2, and I've been comparing it to the front one. It's within one number. So I guess that has part of it, but the Angel has a much harder carcass. Much more difficult to mount, especially if you don't have a tire machine. You mount them by hand like I do. And no matter how many times I do this, I still come to the same conclusion. That's why I don't want to just do it once and think I have the answer. It averages out to 1 or 2 numbers if you do it enough. Maybe 2, maybe 3 to most, of how much harder the Angels are, but that's not a significant amount. And just for reference, Pirelli Sport Demons are supposed to be touring tires. They're not really sport bike tires. And these are 10. These are 10. More than 10. Harder than, and they're not a two compound tire. So my conclusion is, after doing this over and over and over a lot of times, these really are touring tires, because I'm really trying to, the whole reason I'm keeping track of this is we did have comments on the channel, and somebody mentioned that these tires, the Angels, are really touring tires that belong on a Goldwing. Well, and I've gone through this again, not according to the Pirelli chart. So that was one thing. And then I wanted to do it, the real test is, forget the Pirelli chart, you do it with your own durometer. These are more like sport bike tires, for sure, than the Sport Angels. And for sure, I'm sure they're not track bike tires as such, where you need tire warmers. So we are in, and I'm gaining knowledge on this every time I go for a ride on those Pirelli Angels. And we're going to go for a ride today. Now these are way softer. These are softer by almost 10. So again, just by doing it over and over and over again and averaging it out, you hope we get some useful information. But again, these are Michelin 5s. The 2s I know are harder. These are softer. The 2s are harder than this by quite a bit. And the Angels look to be just a little bit harder than the 2s, but we don't know what the final mileage on this is. We know what the mileage is on 2s, so sooner or later we're going to have a real nice database to share. So once I get the work on the farm done and feed the fish, we're ready to get out on the open road, and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Anybody want to go riding today? Or you just want to eat? Eat and swim. Eat and swim, mostly eat. And don't forget to feed the birds. Oh my God, if I forget to feed them, they let me know about it. Yep, they are fun every morning here on the farm. Final check of the weather, hot and getting hotter. Actually, it's really hot already. Oh, it's time to ride. Time to ride. little by little, I'm starting to lean on these Pirelli Angels just a little bit more with each ride. By the end of this ride, I should have over 400 miles on them, and it should be, at that point in time, maybe I've reached, the limit where I need to fool around and I can just start riding them. But for today, I'm being easy. Now, because of the comments posted on the channel about these being touring tires, which turned out to be incorrect, if these are touring tires, I'd want them on my touring bike. But of course, the big thing we're looking for, the grip seems fine. The big thing we're looking for is more mileage. And did this day ever play out well? It was a little bit cloudy, and the sun came out a little bit, but it never really got to be a cooker. And when you have that, it just makes the ride, the second half of the ride, a little more comfortable. And today, as I look back at the ride, this day turned out absolutely perfect. Now, whenever I'm cruising around like this on a absolutely perfect day on a motorcycle, it's fun to ride with some new tire testing. I always think back and think just how lucky I am to have the life I have and to have Karen and have the family I have and the house I have and this little motorcycle collection. Now, I usually tough it out through some pretty nasty cold winter days, and already we've had a couple of days that on the ride home I thought I was in a microwave cooking or sitting in front of a hairdryer. But today, the way the day played out, it just could not have been nicer. Even the second half of this ride was very, very pleasant. Now, I've had this bike 13 years, 31,000, 32,000, coming up on 32,000. And it, except for having to replace the starter motor, which I think was just defective right from the factory, this bike has absolutely been just about as bulletproof and reliable as any bike I've ever owned. It's been great. Now, when I originally put the handlebars on the bike, they hadn't come out with the MT series of bikes, but here, as years have gone by, a couple of years after I put the handlebars on, I noticed they came out with the THEM, which basically is an R1 with a little bit of a detuned engine and handlebars. Oh, I wonder. And like all the bikes in my collection, this one I've made some custom parts, some of them out of carbon fiber. And over the years, I look to see which ones have deteriorated or cracked or the finish has gone bad on them. On this bike, every single piece that I made for it, including those headlight replacements, they turned out perfect. And I really like all these backwood sections. There are some beautiful back roads here, and there's obviously not a lot of traffic, not a lot of houses either. And but every once in a while, there's a deer crossing the street, or a cow, or something that it gets your attention. This is the first year that Yamaha came out with the Crossplane. And the ones before this is an '09, I think up to '08, they were the traditional motor. This is a Crossplane though. And to me, the sound of that when you back off the gas, oh man. Now, not everybody agrees, of course, like everything in motorcycling, but I love it. Every time I pass one of these people that has a real farm, and I think how much fun it must be to be a real farmer, because Karen and I get so much enjoyment out of a little farm we have, not even a real farm, but we just love doing the harvest, picking up the veggies every day. And being totally candid and honest, with every ride and every additional 100 miles I put on these tires, I'm getting more and more comfortable with them. And even if they are Goldwing tires, I don't know. I don't know about that, but they sure seem to work for me so far. And because Luciano put a set of Angels on his R6, and he's been riding pretty aggressively lately. Oh, I'm just wondering, and I really, if anybody out there has any more information, I'd love to share it. But to be honest, I think these tires work out great on an R1. Whenever I look back over my photos of this R1 with the black wheels, it had flat black wheels the first couple of years when I bought it. And I can't believe how nice the wheels turned out on this. And the silver and the blue, it really works for me. Now, one of the things that makes this bike even more fun to ride than a typical 1000cc sport bike, Yamaha, when they came out the Crossplane, I think it's probably only the first couple of years, these engines had tremendous torque. And I think, but I'm not sure, this was the first year for the ride-by-wire throttle. And when you go from rain mode to track mode to street mode, it's like 3 different motorcycles. They really did a good job with the electronics on that. So this is the first year of the Crossplane, and the second year they put traction control on. So what does that tell you? I guess a lot of people were wanting traction control on a bike this powerful. This bike, but it's not the power, it's how it puts it to the ground. And the way it puts the power to the back wheel is totally different than the FZR, which is another 1000cc Yamaha. This one, it just meters the power out in a beautiful fashion, where the FZR is a lot like a big two-stroke. But they both really are entertaining to ride. Now, over those 13 years, I've been religious about doing the oil changes and using Yamaha oil filters and meticulously using the best products I could buy, the best chain, the best sprockets, the whole thing, and it has really paid off in the long run. But even the most entertaining ride in perfect weather on a perfect day, it has to come to an end because we have to get back to the farm. Our farm is calling. My grandson's coming over tonight, and we want to have some veggies to eat and, of course, some cookies. And it has been such a wonderful day. This is the kind of day when you're a motorcyclist, you live for a day like today with that perfect, absolutely perfect weather, but it is time to get back. Now, once again, we've taken advantage of a really nice weather day, gotten a nice ride in. All I can say is we've been very lucky lately. The weather's been pretty good. And I've enjoyed the last couple days on the R1 and on working in the yard and doing the farm, and it just couldn't have been better. And of course, my grandson is coming over tonight. He always does. He surprises me. And he likes to surprise me, and I like to surprise him. So anyway, hope you did enjoy sharing this little part of our life, and ride safe. Now we have more meetups coming up soon. Turbo Steve has some more of his decals to put on a bike. We hope we can get his bike, the parts of it, ready for him, get the clear on it, and that he can do whatever assembly he's going to do with the other turbo bike, get the shop cleaned up, and the summer is in front of us. Who's here to see me? You got the money, Yomi? Hey, what's up, guys?
I came for the cake.
You're here for the cake, not me, right? Well, show me that cookie. Those cookies worthwhile? Yeah, that's Grammy cookies, baby.
At least they're...
And I wonder if he really comes for me or for these cookies. We actually had cake, but I won't say what happened to the cake. There's the rabbit. He came to see you. He always seems to be here when you're here. You getting your money's worth out of this Kawasaki bike? Kawasaki green. When are you going to be ready for a nice little powered bike?
I don't know.
Electric power?
I don't know.
I saw some cool ones. You could get me one for my birthday and I'll let you ride it. Okay. My birthday's coming up soon.
Okay.
And you could ride it. So this whole day went in the record books as just a perfect day, and we really did have a great time out on the open road with the R1. I don't know. Every time I think back, 13 years I've had that bike, and it took me a long time to get it that I was happy with it and I wasn't making changes and parts. But the last couple of years, and including those silver wheels, and maybe another key piece of this puzzle is the tires, because the Michelin 2s were really wearing out quickly. We would go through a set of those, I don't even remember, 4,000 miles, 3,500 miles. I think the Angels, well, we'll know. But we're going to keep testing them throughout the summer. So if you enjoyed the video, I hope you share it with your friends. And of course, I hope, most of all, that we'll see you tomorrow. And thanks again for watching.